We'll start laying down tonight, keeping in mind that we can really spread this big back out on the floor and allow it to all relax downward. So close your eyes. We're just going to be here and breathe for a little while. So give yourself some time. It may not be that you just relax right away. Okay, maybe you need some time to kind of fidget and get everything to feel just right. Maybe put a bend in your knees if you feel maybe tight in your low back today. You might just gently knock your knees together. And that'll internally rotate your hip joints and open up some extra space for your low back to be more neutral. So you can try that out. Additionally, it's nice in your chest if you tend to get tense in your chest to bend your elbows, scoot your shoulder blades underneath your heart, and just rest your arms on the floor. So however feels best, take a little time to configure yourself into this really comfortable laying down shape. And allow yourself to lengthen and draw the breath out to the point that it really fills your lungs. And then you empty your lungs completely every time, belly button to spine. So inhaling big, open belly and chest. And exhaling, belly and chest pull inward. So as you lay here, allow your body to relax with each exhale. You want to feel the whole torso expanding, taking up more space with each breath. Tension continues to melt out of your joints. And now that we've been here for a moment, we've lengthened out the breath. Okay, you've drawn attention to places of tension in your body, places of relaxation as well. Start to watch your thoughts with that same attention, without getting taken for a ride, right? Just observing. Sit back and watch your thoughts the way you would watch clouds pass. You wouldn't try to change anything about the clouds. And as soon as a cloud drifted out of sight, you would just let it go. Notice if your breath has gotten naturally longer and deeper. Notice any differences in your body in the last few moments, just from breathing deeply like this. It's kind of amazing how this big breath can really bring us home to just being present. So we'll start to bring in a little movement to this very relaxed laying down posture. You can keep your eyes closed, and I'll try to just use my words so that you don't even have to look to see what I'm doing unless you need a little extra clarification. So rest your eyes, rest your jaw, and then bend your knees. Bring your feet up closer to where your hips are, and then take the feet away from each other so that there's a lot of space between them, until it feels just right and you feel a gentle stretch in each of your hips, okay, front, back, and sides. And then we can start windshield wipering the knees side to side. And this is very gentle, pretty passive movement. Just letting gravity do most of it. Begin to feel some nice warmth and maybe a little extra fluidity building in each hip, inner and outer. Okay, and also feel your low back gently wringing out. Okay, your pelvis getting kind of a nice wringing out here. So you might get some pops and some cracks. And in general, that's okay as long as it feels good. Okay, let's see if we can start to press the upper body into the ground and maybe activate this a little more. So this should feel really nice in your low back as you gently stretch out each hip flexor by drawing the knees closer to the ground. You can pause. Keep the big breath moving. I want to feel your hips and low back really waking up and letting go. And we can keep with this, or we can deepen it a little bit more. We can deepen that twist. So next time you come through center, pause there. Try picking your feet up and putting your knees together over your hips. Keep that same strengthening downward of the upper body so that you feel really stable. And we'll hover the legs to one side, just a little hover. Keep your upper body grounding. And then bring it back up through center. Other side, hover, ground in your upper body. Back through center. Keep breathing. Let's go side to side, like this. So notice there's a little more core involvement here. And keeping the low back happy, we really want to work on getting that core supported and balanced and warm. Okay, the stronger we can make our support system, the happier the whole spine will be, especially your low back. Okay, maybe if you want a little more, you can extend your legs a little more. You can even extend them all the way up and think of bringing your toes over towards your fingers. Toes up, toes to the other fingers. So maybe try that a few times. A lot more core work, so you'll get a little warmer. Ooh. And next time you come back through center, pause there, bend your knees if they were extended, and drop your feet by your hips. And you can keep your arms out wide here. As a matter of fact, if you want to scoot your shoulder blades a little bit more underneath your heart and kind of peel up in your chest, make yourself a nice long neck, and you'll feel that you can really press the meat of your shoulders and upper back into the floor. And it's a nice back massage. So take a moment just enjoying that. And we'll combine that sensation, okay, that pressing into the mat of the backs of the shoulder blades with a bridge. So feet are hips distance and they're close to your hips. Knees are pulling in slightly. So put some engagement like you're trying to hold something between your legs. And lift your hips high. You could think of inhaling up. Then we're going to drop them down on the exhale. Now let's take a few more like that. Okay, inhale up. Exhale, roll it down. And keep it going. And let's exaggerate that rolling up and rolling down. Think of your spine as very snaky here and really control. Think of lifting one vertebra at a time. Then dropping one at a time. And let's do a few more rounds like this. As you roll up and down, keep the spine long, so you're always moving the tailbone away. And you're always engaging the knees inward, keeping your core involved. Okay, next time you come up, pause here. We're gonna hold and enjoy this for a little while. So make sure that your nose points straight up so that the back of your neck is long and arching off the floor. Okay, let's really put some squeeze between the two knees. Want to feel the glutes engage and the core be strong. Maybe if you like to experiment with what the upper body's doing here, join your hands underneath you. See if you can really prop your shoulder blades underneath your rib cage. And then you can start to press the floor down here. So take some big breaths. Think of pushing the floor away, pulling the knees in. I want to feel a really great stretch across your chest here and into your hips. Maybe one more big breath right here. And then we'll come down really slowly. So release your hands and put your palms down for extra control. Put your tailbone up-ish, okay, like you could really point it at the ceiling. And let's pull one vertebra down so slowly at a time. Take your time, maybe 3 more breaths, lengthening the spine, one vertebra down at a time. Okay, your tailbone is the last thing to come down. And then relax your lower body. Take some windshield wipers here. Okay, notice how much we activated the glutes and the hamstrings. So they're nice and warm. And now that the backs of the legs are nice and warm, it's a great time for us to release any tension in the glutes and the hamstrings. So point your knees up and we'll pause here. Take your right knee towards your chest so you can interlace your fingers on the shin or on the thigh, the back of the thigh. Pull the right knee in towards your chest. And then once you find where you have the knee, where you'd like to have it, okay, sometimes it's close, sometimes it's far. It just depends on the day and the hip. Try giving yourself a little bit of resistance. So the knee pushes into the hands as the hands pull on the knee. See if you can ground your shoulder blades. And take a few more breaths here, okay? Finding maybe some little soreness in that right hip that you can kind of move around on. Maybe even moving that right knee a little bit to the left, okay? Keeping the right hip grounded. Move the knee to the left. So a nice stretch for that outer right hip. And then let's release that. We're just going to soften up on the knee. Okay, take your hands behind the thigh if they weren't already, and flex that right ankle. So push it up to the ceiling. All right, so we're going to try to keep the flex in the ankle. Do you feel that that's a nice calf stretch on the back of the right leg? So nice calf stretch, keep the ankle flex, and we'll flex the knee. So pull the heel towards your glute and press it back up. And so your hands are on your big hamstring muscle. Let's do this a few more times and feel your hamstrings moving under your hands. Okay. They're really big. And they really do hold a lot of tension. So it behooves us to give them a really good release every now and then. So that being said, press the right heel up. Give a really nice flex in your ankle, and you think of pushing out through the bones of the leg. But even as you push out through that heel, pull back in the muscles of the leg like you're trying to plug the leg into your hip socket. So you're really active in every part of your right leg. And you don't have to be 100% of your activity, okay, of your strength. Just give it a little activity. And think of pulling that knee towards your chest. We're going to take a few more breaths here. So think of that perfect lengthening feeling in your right hamstring. Find it, and it should be pleasant. No pain. Maybe one more big breath here. Releasing any tension that might remain in that right back of your thigh. And then release it. Okay, bend the right knee and drop that right ankle onto your left knee. And then we're going to let go of the right leg and make a figure 4 shape by pressing the right knee away and feeling a gentle opening on the right inner hip. So take a little time right here. You can just make cactus arms and drop them on the floor. Notice how when you activate your right outer hip and press the knee away from your nose, okay, using that hip strength, that you feel an opening on your right inner hip. So we can kind of use those relationships to our advantage in this practice by strengthening the outer hip when we want to open the inner, and vice versa. So in your figure 4, see if you can keep that right knee moving away as we start to twist by dropping the legs side to side. So try it out. Drop the legs one way, drop them the other way. And you're holding this figure 4 shape as you move. So you can look away from your legs here, allowing the twist to go all the way up to your skull. And remember to breathe. Okay, so next time your right knee comes to the right, pause, and we'll hang out right here for a little bit. Let's keep everything much like we have it, except we'll change one thing. We'll shimmy the left foot over to the left until the knees come as low as you want them to. So you decide how low you want to let the legs drop, depending on how it feels in your hips and legs and low back. But when you find that spot, look to the left, away from your knees, and we'll start to breathe here. It's very gentle twist, okay? Very nice and gentle. You can be extremely relaxed here. Breathe deep breaths into your belly and chest. And then you can keep it really gentle, or you can activate the posture a little bit more by engaging your knees downward, pulling your belly button to the floor, and opening up maybe in the left hip flexor. You might feel it. Who knows? Think of lifting your chest as you press your knees down, like you're trying to push the floor away from you here. A few more big breaths, big spaciousness in your front body. All right, we're gonna roll up out of this twist. So come through center with your figure 4, but keep the figure 4 shape going because we're gonna drop the legs to the left now. So let the right foot come down to the left. Let the left knee drop there. And just how they fell, let that right foot be on the floor. And you can look to the right here so that this twist is nice and twisty. Breathe here. As you begin to settle in, think of pushing the right knee away from you. Notice how that feels on your right inner hip. You can also think of pressing both your legs into the floor here, pressing your upper body down and lifting your chest. So thinking real spacious thoughts into that whole right side. Maybe one more big breath here. It's a nice twist. Really great for your low back. Really great for undoing the results of our daily lives. All right, friends, we're bringing everything back through center here. So come on through. Ground your feet here. Take some windshield wipers. Notice how your hips are feeling. Okay, let's do all of that on the other side. So next time your knees point up, just pause there, and we'll bring the left knee in. You can grab the shin or your thigh, ground those shoulder blades, and bring it as close to your heart as it'll go, without pain, of course, no pain. And then once you're there, with those really heavy shoulder blades, start to resist your hands a little bit. It really doesn't have to be a lot of strength. Just a little bit of effort will actually allow you to release so much more than you could passively. So we always want to lengthen tissues actively so that it's safer and more sustainable. Deep breaths here as you slightly press the knee into your hands as your hands pull it in. Now you can play around with this by starting to move the knee around as you pull it in, side to side. Maybe kind of massaging that hip joint a little bit. Maybe pulling the knee a little bit to the right, and notice how that feels in your hip. Let's release that knee and go for the thigh. So hands interlaced behind the thigh. And we'll flex that left foot, pushing the heel toward the ceiling. So notice how nice that feels in your left calf. Okay, you can maybe even flex it so much that you feel it all the way down to your hamstrings. Remember, you can always bend the knee more or less, but we're pulling the heel in and then we're pushing it up. Let's take a few rounds just like this. So I want you to keep your leg active. You're pushing out through the bones, but you're also pulling back through the muscle. You feel your hamstrings moving under your hands. See if you can find where you hold the most tension there. Where do you feel the most, this release? Okay, next time you press up through the heel, we'll hold it right there. So ground your shoulder blades, all right? Extend through the bones, pull back through the muscles, and hug the knee towards your heart. Take a few more breaths, just finding and releasing tension in your hamstrings. Remember, no pain. Only good feelings on the mat, friends. Maybe one more breath here. Okay, let's let that go. Bend the left knee and allow the ankle to fall onto your right knee. And we can let go of the left leg here. Just cactus your arms on the floor. Get a nice big open chest. And start to press the left knee away. So notice the left outer hip works, and that allows the left inner hip to release. And see if you can keep that happening, that outer hip strength. Okay, and roll side to side in this figure 4. So see if you could keep it kind of crisp. Really great feeling in your outer hips, your low back. Your glutes are also getting a really nice massage. That's kind of a bonus. So let's settle into this gentle twist. Drop your knee to the left and let's pause it there. So you can look away from your knees, right? Look over to the right. So your spine is gently twisting. And then start to experiment with how far to the right do you want to walk your right foot. If your hip is tender, you can keep the knee high. If you want a little more, you can drop the knee nice and low. Okay? Think of pulling your belly button downward, pulling the knees downward, and pointing your tailbone at your knees. Okay? So you get that nice hip release. A few more breaths here, just whatever kind of depth or relaxation you want to bring to these twists. Think of arching your chest up so you get that spaciousness in the front body. And then as you're ready, let's rock it back up and in. Reestablish that figure 4 with your legs and let them drop to the right. So now the right knee has come down. The left foot can come down over there. And we're looking away from the knees over to the left. So once you've settled in a little bit more, start to press the floor away from you. Arch your spine up as you press your shoulder blades down. And let's take some deep breaths here. Okay, each time you twist your spine, you want to remember to keep it nice and long. So always finding that long spine on the inhale, belly button to spine, exhale. And then as you're ready, just roll this up and in to center. And we'll release this left foot back to the floor. Hug your knees in towards your chest here. I'm going to give a nice hug to the lower body. Think of smooshing your low back around on the mat. And maybe one knee in each hand, you can separate your knees and kind of stir each leg around in the hip socket. So really getting any last little bits of tension out of the hips and low back here. All right, so find yourself knees back together at center. You can tuck your hands behind your knees here. Let's rock and roll a few times. We can rock it all the way up and then think of rolling on your spine all the way down. Try it a few times. It should feel nice. You can take your knees wide if that helps. And kind of enjoy the silliness of it. It's nice. All right, next time you rock up, let's just stay in a seat up here. And I'll turn a little bit to face you. Let's go ahead and put your feet together. And you can take them really close to your hips or really far. The main difference is that if you take them really close, it could be a lot of pressure on your knees. So just whatever your knees think about that is great. Drop your fingers beside you. You can kind of rest your hands on your knees. Make your spine nice and tall. And then start to press your legs into the ground. Even though obviously your knees might be far from the ground, it's fine. Just think of them moving downward, okay? And then think also of pressing your feet toward each other, which is probably not something we would normally do. So it might feel unfamiliar and strange, but just go with it. Breathe here. Keep pressing your feet together and your knees down. Okay, if you want to keep it pretty chill here, just keep your hands down. If you want to pick this up a little bit, you can have your hands up overhead, maybe interlace your fingers, flip your palms up. Keep the shoulders away from the ears, maybe 3 more long, slow breaths here. Push the feet together. Long spine. 2 more breaths. Nice and easy. 1 more breath. Push your feet together. And let that go. Drop your hands if they were up in the air. I think if your shoulder rolls are in order here. Make the really big circles with your shoulders, and then other direction. Okay, so we just got your legs a little bit warm, and let's play around with the shape a little bit. So grab your right foot and bring it closer to you than your left, so that your right heel and your left heel are in line, okay? But the right foot's just a little closer to you, and the right toes touch the left heel. So feet are connected, sit up nice and tall. And we're gonna find a long spine first. So keep grounded in your hips. And with each inhale, imagine your spine gets a little longer. We're going to start to play around with this. So drop your fingers in front of you. And if you want to lean forward, and start to move your heart past your toes. Your heart wants to move past both sets of toes. Keep your hips grounded and long spine. Inhale. Heart moves a little bit further forward as you exhale. So let's spend a few more breaths just doing this, lengthening the spine over the toes, and then sending the heart forward. You may end up dropping to your elbows. Keep the spine long, and then if you really want some nice opening in your hips and legs, you can really press down into the floor with your legs. You may even let your head fall at some point. Just try to keep your neck really long, okay? Gently push the floor away with your legs. Feel a big spaciousness opening up in your whole back body. Maybe one more big breath in and out here. And we'll let this go by walking the hands back up and in. So walk yourself back up. If you want to lean back on your hands here, you can rearrange your feet. So take them the other way. We'll take the right foot out in front of the left this time and pull the left foot in a little closer. Okay, the feet are in line. And you could think of gently pressing the legs into the ground to get a little more mobility here. So start out with just your long spine. And for some of us, this is quite enough, and we'll just stay right here, okay? Some of us want to move a little bit more deeply into the sensation of the hips, the low back. And so you can start to fingertip forward. Maybe elbows come down. But there's really no point in pushing or rushing down to your elbows. Our main goal is that long spine. Feel free to drop your head. Make a long neck. Push the floor away with your legs. Okay, feel that right outer hip, maybe the low back opening up. Pay attention to where you feel this and why. Maybe one more luxurious breath here. And walk your hands back up. Walk it in. And then maybe again, you lean back on your hands here. Kick your legs out a little bit. We can shake it out. Legs out in front. Okay, notice how your hips and legs are feeling. We did some good work today. Let's get a little bit more twisty. So if you bend your right knee, pull it up and in towards you. Hold on tight to your right leg with both of your arms and just sit up tall first. So we're about to twist really deeply. And before we twist, we always want to make sure we have a lot of length in the spine. And we'll always, as we continue to deepen the twist, we'll continue to drop into the tailbone and lift in the top of the head. Okay, we're always reminding ourselves to be long in the spine. So maybe we stay right here for a little while. As soon as you're ready, you can deepen this twist by dropping or drawing the left arm over the right leg, right fingers behind you. So press the floor away. All right, all of your parts that are on the floor are actively pushing the floor down. The top of your head is moving straight up. And we'll spend several breaths just deepening this twist, okay, to the degree that you are looking for in your practice today. So do remember, no matter what kind of twist you're in, long spine inhale, belly button to spine exhale. So use your strong belly muscles, pull inward. Maybe you deepen it more by taking left elbow outside right knee. But still, long spine inhale, belly button to spine exhale. We're giving your organs and your back an incredible massage right now. Maybe one more breath here, okay? Roll all of that back into center. And then from here, just push your right knee to the ground, okay? Keep that left leg nice and long and sit up nice and tall here. We're gonna fold forward and kind of drape over this left leg. However, if you feel too much tension in the back of your left leg, or you feel like you're not really gonna be able to fold forward very much and you want to, you can bend that left knee. Put a little bend in it, okay? But do strengthen the left leg and actively push the floor down. Start to lengthen your heart toward the left big toes. And we'll take several breaths right here. Heart moves toward toes. Long spine. So you might come to your elbows for this. You might also drop your head here. But same as when we dropped our head in that different posture. Long spine, please. Think of always actively pushing the floor down in this posture. As you're ready, walk yourself back up and out. And we'll just switch sides. So let's extend the right leg, and it will be the long one now. And we can bring the left foot in, plant it by your hips. Hold on to your leg with both arms. Sit up nice and tall. Okay, begin to get that really long, cultivated spine. Right arm holds left leg, left fingers behind you. Twist. Push the floor down. Inhale. Belly button to spine. Exhale. Deepen the twist if you like. Right elbow outside, left knee. Ground those hips though. Maybe two more long, slow breaths right here. Think of a big chest. Untwist yourself as you're ready. Come on out. Okay, and we'll fold it now. So drop the left knee to the floor. Just keep the left foot kind of tucked in. And we'll think of folding, kind of draping over this right leg. So we might have some opening on the back of the leg. If it's too much, bend the knee, and that'll also help you fold more easily. Okay, but either way, press your strong legs down into the floor. Lengthen your spine towards those toes. Okay, putting a really nice flex in your right ankle might help. And also thinking of kicking into the floor sometimes helps. Let each breath relax the back of your body a little more. Maybe the elbows come down. Maybe you drop your head. But try to resist the temptation to grab and pull on your leg here. Try to let the strength for this fold be intrinsic strength. Okay. Maybe one more breath right here. Notice the low back. We'll start to walk yourself up as you're ready. From here, if you lean back on your hands, you can extend both your legs. And let's try a really super slow motion roll down. So reach forward and round your spine. So like you're pointing your tailbone at your toes. And super slow motion, roll yourself down. Remember to breathe. As you land, find Shavasana or any other resting posture, and it's time to rest. So I recommend you scoot your shoulder blades underneath your heart and kind of softly bend your elbows so you have your biggest chest to breathe with. Flop your feet away from each other. And completely surrender all effort and sense of doing. And just be. Let go of controlling your breath. Just let it run wild. Let go of holding any tension in your body. Okay, completely release your jaw, your eyebrows. And then same with your thoughts. Allow the thoughts to just float freely. Sit back and observe. And bring your awareness back over and over to this moment. Let the past and future fade away. Come back to this moment again. What do you hear? What do you feel right now? Please keep resting just like this for as long as you can. Maybe take a nap if you have the chance. But this is where I will leave you today. So thank you so much for practicing with me and taking good care of yourself.